The call for help. In a galaxy teetering on the brink of chaos, the Galactic Council convened in a grand chamber adorned with shimmering star maps and holographic displays. At its center stood Ambassador Sirius, a Norin with deep blue skin that flushed purple with emotion. His heart raced as he slammed his fist onto the table, drawing the attention of his fellow council members. The Zorgan war machine is advancing. They consume planets like flames devouring dry wood, he exclaimed, his voice echoing off the walls. We cannot sit idly by while innocent civilizations fall to their tyranny. Sirius's frustration was palpable as he surveyed the faces around him. Some were indifferent, others fearful. Zephyr, his young aide, shifted nervously beside him. Perhaps we could seek aid from the Eldari or Quarry. Surely they would not stand idle as the Zorgan enslave worlds. Sirius scoffed, shaking his head vehemently. The Eldari care nothing for lesser races, while the Quarry are too busy squabbling amongst themselves. We have no allies left. Just then, an urgent ping interrupted their dire conversation. Debating a holographic display, Sirius's yellow eyes widened as he read a distress message. By the stars, the Zorgan have invaded Maluya. The council members exchanged glances filled with dread. They're gathering a defense fleet, Zephyr added hesitantly. But it may arrive far too late. Sirius clenched his jaw, feeling an overwhelming weight on his shoulders. Would this be how it all ended? Were they truly powerless against such an unstoppable force? Just when despair threatened to consume him, a slim hope flickered in his mind. A last desperate roll of the dice that might save Maluya, and perhaps even the galaxy. Turning to Zephyr with grim determination, he said, "Send word to Earth. Tell them we need their help." The console pinged again, drawing their attention back to the display. Sirius frowned as he read the sender's name, United Terran Federation. "I've only heard whispers about these humans," he murmured skeptically. "What could they possibly want with us?" Zephyr leaned in closer, curiosity piqued. "I've heard tales of their resourcefulness and tenacity. Perhaps they've caught wind of Maluya's plight." Sirius scanned the message again, skepticism evident in his tone. "Joshua Grant claims they wish to aid us in Maluya's defense. But what do we really know about these humans? Rumors paint them as a savage species constantly at each other's throats. Yet Zephyr saw potential where Sirius saw doubt. Think of their ingenuity. If even half of what I've heard is true, they could be valuable allies." Sirius sighed heavily, weighing their options carefully. With Maluya's fate hanging in the balance, could they afford to turn away any offer of help, even from an unknown quantity like these humans? Reluctantly, he composed a reply inviting Joshua Grant to meet with them. When Joshua arrived aboard their ship, Sirius was taken aback by his appearance. Unlike the tall Norins or other races present at council meetings, Joshua was compact and muscular with pale skin and dark hair. But what struck Sirius most was Joshua's confident demeanor as he greeted him. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, Ambassador Sirius," Joshua began, his voice steady and assured. "I understand your reservations about accepting aid from our species, but I assure you that the UTF is committed to stopping the Zorgan threat." Sirius leaned forward, intrigued despite himself. "And just how do you propose to do that? The Zorgan have cut through defenses far more advanced than ours, like plasma through durasteel." Joshua smiled confidently, determination gleaming in his eyes. "We've been monitoring the Zorgan closely, studying their tactics and technology, and we've developed specialized countermeasures of our own. With your permission, we can have a fleet of our most advanced warships in Movian space within a single rotation." Sirius's eyes widened at this revelation. Such speed was impressive, but skepticism lingered still. "What makes you think your ships can fare any better against the Zorgan than those of our council races?" "Our vessels are equipped with state-of-the-art shield technology designed to withstand even Zorgan plasma weaponry," Joshua explained earnestly. "And our special forces units are trained in infiltration and sabotage. They can breach Zorgan ships and strike at critical systems from within." As Joshua laid out details of their plan, Sirius found himself slowly warming to this idea. These humans clearly had capabilities he hadn't anticipated, capabilities that might just give Maluya a fighting chance after all. Zephyr seemed equally heartened by Joshua's words as their meeting drew to a close. He turned to Sirius with hopeful eyes. Maybe this is the lifeline we've been searching for if these humans can truly do what they claim. As preparations began for battle against an overwhelming foe, little did they know that this alliance would lead them into an epic confrontation that would test not only their resolve, but also redefine what it meant to be fearless in the face of danger. This sets up an engaging beginning for Fearless Humans, the ultimate rescue mission, establishing stakes while introducing key characters and themes that will unfold throughout subsequent parts of this story. New Hope. As the Galactic Council convened once more, the atmosphere was charged with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. Ambassador Sirius paced the chamber, his mind racing with thoughts of the impending Zorgan threat. The council members had reluctantly agreed to reach out to Earth for assistance, and now they awaited the arrival of Joshua Grant, the human diplomat. Would these so-called fearless humans live up to their reputation? Zephyr, his young aide, stood by nervously. What if they fail us, Ambassador? What if we've placed our hopes in a species that cannot deliver? Sirius paused, glancing at Zephyr. We have no choice but to trust them. If we do not act now, Maluya will be lost. The chamber door slid open, and in walked Joshua Grant, flanked by a small team of humans. His presence was commanding. He exuded confidence that instantly captured the room's attention. Sirius felt a flicker of hope as he approached. Ambassador Sirius, Joshua greeted warmly, extending his hand. Thank you for meeting with me. Sirius shook his hand firmly. I appreciate your willingness to assist us. Time is of the essence. Discussing strategy. As they settled into the meeting room, Joshua wasted no time in outlining the United Terran Federation's plan. We've been monitoring the Zorgan for some time now, he began, projecting a holographic display of the enemy fleet. Our intelligence suggests they are preparing for an all-out assault on Maluya. Sirius leaned closer to the display, studying the Zorgan ships that loomed ominously on the screen. What makes you think your forces can succeed where others have failed? Joshua smiled, his eyes gleaming with determination. Our technology is designed specifically to counter Zorgan tactics. We have advanced shield systems and specialized weaponry that can penetrate their defenses. Zephyr interjected, curiosity piqued. And what about your soldiers? Are they prepared for this kind of battle? Joshua nodded confidently. Our special forces are among the best trained in the galaxy. They excel in infiltration and sabotage, skills that will be crucial in this fight. Building trust. As discussions progressed, Sirius found himself increasingly impressed by Joshua's knowledge and charisma. The human diplomat spoke passionately about their mission and what it meant to protect innocent lives from tyranny. Back on Earth, Joshua explained, we have a saying. All it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. We refuse to stand by while others suffer. Sirius felt a warmth spread through him at those words. Perhaps these humans were not as savage as he had been led to believe. Perhaps they were allies worth fighting alongside. Your commitment is commendable, Sirius replied earnestly, but we must also consider how we can work together effectively. Joshua nodded in agreement. I propose we establish a joint command center here on Maluya to coordinate our efforts. We can share intelligence and resources seamlessly. Zephyr's eyes sparkled with excitement at this idea. That could give us a significant advantage, if we can anticipate their moves. Sirius interrupted, his brow furrowing slightly. But what if our methods clash? We come from different cultures. How can we ensure smooth collaboration? Joshua leaned forward earnestly. We'll establish clear communication protocols and conduct joint training exercises before any engagement with the Zorgan forces begins. Preparations underway. With plans set in motion, The atmosphere shifted from anxiety to determination as both teams began preparations for battle. The humans set up their advanced technology alongside Maluya's defenses, creating a formidable alliance. As days passed, Sirius observed how quickly Joshua and his team adapted to their new environment. They shared insights on strategy while learning about Maluya's unique strengths, its advanced medical technology, and its people's resilience. One evening, as they reviewed battle simulations together, Zephyr turned to Joshua with admiration. "You've really brought hope back into our fight against the Zorgon." Joshua smiled modestly but with conviction. "Hope is essential in times like these. It fuels our resolve." The calm before the storm. As preparations continued, a sense of camaraderie began to blossom between humans and Malyans alike. They shared meals filled with laughter and stories of their respective worlds, each tale weaving a richer tapestry of understanding between them. However, beneath this newfound friendship lay an undercurrent of tension. Everyone knew that time was running out before the Zorgon would strike. One night, while gazing out at Maluya's twin moons from a balcony overlooking the cityscape, Sirius found himself deep in thought. He turned to Joshua beside him and asked quietly, "Do you truly believe we can turn the tide against them?" Joshua met his gaze steadily. "I do believe it's possible, if we stand united as allies." Sirius nodded slowly. He could feel his doubts beginning to dissipate like mist under sunlight. The first engagement. The day finally arrived when their combined forces would face off against the Zorgon armada above Maluya's orbit. As alarms blared throughout the command center, tension filled every corner of the room. "Prepare for launch," Joshua shouted over the commotion as soldiers scrambled into position. Sirius felt adrenaline coursing through him as he took his place at the command console beside Joshua. Together they watched as fleets assembled outside, human ships glinting under starlight alongside Maluya's own vessels. "Remember," Joshua reminded everyone gathered around them, "stay focused on your objectives. We've trained for this moment." The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. Launch. Into battle. The ships surged forward into space like arrows released from a bowstring, swift and determined. As they entered combat range with Zorgon forces looming ahead, Sirius felt both fear and exhilaration wash over him. The first exchange of fire erupted like thunderclaps across space. Plasma bolts lit up the void as ships danced around each other in a deadly ballet. "Look at them move," Zephyr exclaimed from his station as human ships executed maneuvers that seemed almost instinctual. Sirius couldn't help but feel pride swell within him. These humans were indeed formidable allies. "Target their command ship," Joshua barked orders into his comms as tactical data streamed across their displays. As energy beams lanced out toward enemy vessels, Sirius felt hope ignite within him. Perhaps this alliance would indeed change everything. Turning point. Hours passed in what felt like mere moments. Chaos reigned around them as both sides fought fiercely for dominance above Maluya's surface. Suddenly an alarm blared, a warning that sent chills down Sirius's spine. Zorgon reinforcements detected. "More incoming," Zephyr shouted frantically as he scanned their sensors. Joshua remained calm despite the rising tension around them. "We need to hold our ground. Reinforcements will arrive soon." Just then, another message pinged through their comms, a signal from Earth confirming additional ships en route. "Keep fighting," Sirius urged everyone around him. Determination surged through him like wildfire. A moment of triumph, with renewed vigor spurred by hope from Earth's reinforcements arriving soon enough. The tide began turning in favor of their combined forces. Zorgon ships faltered under relentless attacks from both human and Malyan fleets. Explosions lit up space like fireworks celebrating victory. As enemy vessels began retreating one by one, Joshua turned toward Sirius with an elated grin spreading across his face. "We're doing it. We're winning." Sirius couldn't contain his own smile. Together they had forged an alliance that defied all odds. As victory echoed through their ranks, newfound respect blossomed between humans and Maluians alike, a bond formed through shared struggle against tyranny. In that moment above Maluia, a spark ignited within each heart present, a promise that together they would stand fearless against any threat that dared challenge them. This part continues building upon the story rhythm established in Part 1 while introducing new dynamics between characters and escalating tension as they prepare for battle against an overwhelming foe. A new dawn. As the first rays of light broke over Maluia, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. The combined forces of the United Terran Federation and the Maluian Defense Fleet prepared for what would be a historic battle against the Zorgan war machine. Ambassador Sirius stood at the command center, his heart pounding with a mix of anxiety and hope. Today was not just about survival. It was about forging a new alliance that could change the fate of the galaxy. Status report. Sirius barked, his voice cutting through the tension in the room. Zephyr, his young aide, quickly relayed the information. All ships are in position, Ambassador. The UTF fleet is ready to engage. Joshua Grant is coordinating with his commanders. Sirius nodded, feeling a sense of pride swell within him. The humans had proven themselves in their training exercises, adapting quickly to Maluian tactics. Their technology was impressive, but it was their spirit that truly inspired him. The calm before the storm. As they awaited the Zorgan's arrival, Joshua joined Sirius and Zephyr at the command console. "I know it's hard to wait," he said, his tone steady, "but we've trained for this moment. Trust in our plan." Sirius appreciated Joshua's calm demeanor. "You humans have a unique way of facing danger head-on," he remarked. "It's refreshing." Joshua smiled. "We've learned that fear can either paralyze you or propel you forward. We choose to fight." Just then, an alarm blared throughout the command center, snapping everyone to attention. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing incoming Zorgan ships swarming toward Maluia like a dark storm cloud. "Here they come," Zephyr shouted, his eyes wide with fear and excitement. "Engaging the enemy." "Battle stations," Joshua commanded, his voice firm and authoritative. "Prepare to engage." As Maluia's defense fleet and the UTF warships moved into formation, Sirius felt a surge of adrenaline. He watched as sleek human ships glided effortlessly alongside their own vessels, their advanced shield technology shimmering in the morning light. "Let's show them what we're made of," Joshua shouted as he activated the communication channel to all ships. The moment the Zorgan fleet entered firing range, chaos erupted. Plasma bolts lit up space like fireworks as both sides exchanged fire. Sirius felt his heart race as he watched human ships deftly maneuver around enemy blasts. "Look at their formations," Zephyr exclaimed, awe evident in his voice. "It's like they're dancing." Joshua's face appeared on a secondary display as he relayed orders to his pilots. "Focus fire on their lead ships. Target their engines first." The turning point of battle raged on as both fleets clashed fiercely in orbit around Maluia. Zorgan ships were massive and intimidating, but the humans' agility and tactical prowess began to turn the tide. "Ambassador," Zephyr called out urgently, "we've lost contact with one of our flanks." Sirius felt a knot tighten in his stomach as he turned back to the display. "Reinforce that position. We cannot afford any gaps in our defense." Joshua nodded resolutely. "I'm sending in our special forces for support," he replied confidently. As human fighters darted toward the troubled flank, Sirius marveled at their bravery and skill under fire. They fought like lions defending their territory, fierce and relentless. The unexpected challenge. Just when it seemed they were gaining ground against the Zorgan forces, an unexpected twist unfolded before them. A massive Zorgan command ship emerged from behind an asteroid field, its weapons primed and ready. "Ambassador, that ship is targeting our command center," Zephyr shouted in alarm. "Divert all power to shields," Sirius ordered urgently as he braced himself for impact. The Zorgan ship unleashed a barrage of plasma fire that shook their command vessel violently. Alarms blared as systems flickered under stress. "We need to take that ship down now," Joshua yelled over the din of chaos. "I'll coordinate with our forces," Sirius replied, determination igniting within him. "We must strike hard and fast." Desperate plan. Sirius quickly formulated a plan while Joshua relayed commands to their pilots. They needed to disable the Zorgan command ship before it could inflict further damage on Maluya's defenses. "Zephyr," Sirius said urgently, "can you analyze its weak points?" Zephyr's fingers flew across his console as he accessed data about Zorgan technology. "There, the lower hull is less protected. If we can get close enough," Joshua interrupted with fervor, "I'll lead a squadron of fighters for a direct assault. We'll create a distraction while your ships flank them." Sirius felt a surge of admiration for Joshua's courage and leadership. "Then let's do this. We fight together." Into the fray, with renewed determination coursing through them, they launched their assault against the Zorgan command ship. Human fighters zipped through enemy lines like arrows released from bows. They executed daring maneuvers that left even seasoned pilots in awe. "Now," Joshua shouted as they approached their target. Sirius watched breathlessly as human ships unleashed concentrated fire on the lower hull of the Zorgan vessel. Explosions erupted around them as they pressed forward relentlessly. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the command ship again. The Zorgan had retaliated fiercely. "Brace for impact," Zephyr yelled as they struggled to maintain control amid chaos. A moment of triumph. Just when it seemed all hope might be lost, one of Joshua's fighters managed to breach the command ship's defenses and unleash a devastating blow to its core systems. "It's working," Zephyr shouted triumphantly as sparks flew from displays around them. The massive Zorgan ship shuddered violently before beginning to drift aimlessly through space, a clear sign that they had struck true. Joshua turned toward Sirius with an exuberant grin on his face. "We did it. That was incredible." Sirius felt tears prick at his eyes. Against all odds, they had achieved something extraordinary together. A bond forged in battle that transcended species and cultures alike. Aftermath of battle. As silence fell over Maluya once more, the remnants of both fleets began assessing damages while celebrating their hard-fought victory against overwhelming odds. Sirius felt pride swell within him as he surveyed both human and Maluyan soldiers embracing one another amidst cheers echoing throughout their ranks. A testament to unity forged through struggle. "We have much work ahead," Joshua reminded everyone solemnly, but with hope shining through his words, his spirit unyielding despite losses endured during combat. Both sides had faced adversity together. As night fell over Maluya, stars twinkling brightly above, their shared victory served not only as reassurance but also inspiration for what lay ahead. An alliance built upon courage, resilience, and above all, a commitment towards protecting those who could not protect themselves. This part continues building upon the established narrative while introducing new challenges and triumphs for our characters during an intense battle against formidable foes, highlighting themes of bravery, unity, resilience throughout, the calm before the storm. As the echoes of victory faded, the atmosphere aboard the USS Odyssey shifted from celebration to tension. Ambassador Sirius and Zephyr stood on the bridge, gazing out at the stars, their minds racing with thoughts of what lay ahead. The Zorgan threat had been temporarily quelled, but they both knew that peace was often fleeting in a galaxy filled with conflict. "Ambassador," Zephyr said, breaking the silence, "do you think this is truly over?" "The Zorgan are relentless." Sirius nodded slowly, his expression grave. "We've won a battle, but not the war. They will regroup and strike again when we least expect it." Just then, Joshua Grant entered the bridge, his face a mask of concentration. "I've just received word from our scouts," he announced, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Zorgan have launched an attack on Zephyria." "A dire situation." Sirius's heart sank at the news. Zephyria was known for its peaceful agricultural society. Unprepared for war. "They have no defenses," he exclaimed, his voice filled with urgency. "We must act quickly to save them." Joshua's brow furrowed as he considered their options. "Our fleet is still recovering from the last engagement. We can't divert resources without risking Maluya." Zephyr interjected, panic creeping into his voice. "But if we don't help them, they'll be annihilated. We can't let that happen." Joshua took a deep breath, weighing the dire circumstances before him. "I'll dispatch a squadron of AI drones to assist Zephyria," he decided, determination hardening his features. "They can operate independently and adapt to Zorgan tactics in real time." The AI drones. As Joshua relayed commands to his team, Sirius felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. The AI drones had proven effective in their previous engagement. Perhaps they could turn the tide once more. "Can your drones really handle this alone?" Sirius asked, skepticism still lingering in his mind. Joshua turned to him with confidence. "Athena has been programmed to analyze enemy movements and coordinate our forces effectively. These drones are equipped with advanced weaponry and can adapt to any situation." Zephyr's eyes widened in awe as he listened to Joshua speak about Athena. "An AI that can outsmart the Zorgan. That's incredible." Joshua nodded, a hint of pride evident in his voice. "We've developed Athena over years of research and combat experience. She's more than just a program, she's our greatest asset." The deployment. With their plan set in motion, Joshua activated a holographic display, showing Zephyria's location in relation to their current position. "Drones are launching now," he announced as sleek silver machines detached from the UTF fleet and streaked toward Zephyria at breakneck speed. Sirius watched intently as the drones approached Zephyria's orbit, where the hulking Zorgan ships loomed ominously like predators ready to pounce. "Stay focused," Joshua instructed everyone on the bridge. "We need to monitor their progress closely." As they watched through the displays, plasma cannons on Zorgan ships glowed ominously, ready to unleash destruction upon the defenseless planet below. The battle for Zephyria. The drones entered Zephyria's orbit just as the Zorgan fleet began its assault. Plasma fire erupted from enemy ships as they targeted agricultural settlements below, innocent lives hanging in the balance. "Here they go," Zephyr exclaimed as they observed the drone's swift movements on screen. The AI drones swarmed around the Zorgan fleet with fluid grace, dodging incoming fire while unleashing precise beams of energy targeting critical systems on enemy vessels. "Look at them move," Sirius marveled at their agility. "It's like they're dancing among death." Joshua remained focused on coordinating their efforts from the command center. "Athena is calculating their movements in real time," he explained. "She's adapting our strategy based on how the Zorgan react." Sirius felt a surge of admiration for both Joshua and Athena. Together they were proving to be formidable allies against tyranny. Sudden turn. Just as it seemed that victory was within reach for Zephyria, an unexpected twist unfolded before their eyes. A massive Zorgan command ship emerged from behind an asteroid field, its weapons primed and ready. "Ambassador, that ship is targeting our drones," Zephyr shouted in alarm. Sirius felt a chill run down his spine as he realized what this meant for Zephyria. If that command ship unleashed its firepower on those unprotected settlements, "Joshua," Sirius called out urgently, "we need to divert some drones to intercept that command ship." Joshua nodded swiftly, relaying commands through his console as they watched helplessly while plasma bolts began raining down upon their drones. Desperate gamble. With time running out and lives hanging in the balance, Joshua made a bold decision. "I'll lead a squadron myself. We can't let that command ship destroy everything we fought for." Sirius felt a mix of admiration and fear for Joshua's bravery. "You can't go alone. It's too dangerous." "I have to do this," Joshua replied resolutely. "If we don't stop that ship now, We risk losing everything. With a heavy heart but understanding resolve, Sirius nodded reluctantly as Joshua prepared himself for battle alongside his team of elite pilots. Into battle. As Joshua launched into action with his squadron of fighters, Sirius turned back to monitor the drone's progress on screen. They were holding their ground against overwhelming odds, Zorgan ships faltering under relentless attacks from above. "Come on, you can do it," Zephyr urged under his breath as they watched explosions light up space around them. Suddenly, an explosion rocked their command center. Alarms blared as systems flickered under stress from enemy fire. "Brace for impact," Sirius shouted instinctively as he gripped onto his console tightly. The battle raged on, chaos swirling around them, but amid it all emerged moments of sheer brilliance, human ingenuity shining through every maneuver executed flawlessly by Joshua and his team. Moment of triumph. Just when all hope seemed lost, a brilliant flash illuminated space. One of Joshua's fighters had successfully breached the command ship's defenses. It worked, Zephyr cried out in disbelief as they witnessed sparks flying from enemy hulls, their weapon systems failing one by one. As chaos erupted around them, the Zorgan command ship began drifting aimlessly through space, a clear sign that they had struck true. "Zephyria is secure," Joshua shouted over comms filled with excitement, a triumphant grin spreading across his face. Sirius felt tears prick at his eyes. Against all odds, they had achieved something extraordinary together. An alliance forged through struggle that transcended species and cultures alike. Reflections after battle. As silence fell over Zephyria once more, the remnants of both fleets began assessing damages while celebrating hard-fought victories against overwhelming odds. Sirius felt pride swell within him as he surveyed both human and Zephyrian soldiers, embracing one another amidst cheers echoing throughout their ranks, a testament to unity forged through struggle. "We have much work ahead," Joshua reminded everyone solemnly, but with hope shining through his words, his spirit unyielding despite losses endured during combat. Both sides had faced adversity together. As night fell over Zephyria, stars twinkling brightly above, their shared victory served not only as reassurance but also inspiration for what lay ahead, an alliance built upon courage, resilience, and above all, a commitment towards protecting those who could not protect themselves. This part continues building upon established themes while introducing new challenges faced by our characters during intense battles against formidable foes, highlighting bravery, unity, resilience throughout the aftermath of victory. In the wake of their hard-fought victories at Maluya and Zephyria, the atmosphere aboard the USS Odyssey was a mixture of relief and determination. Ambassador Sirius and Zephyr stood on the command deck, surveying the stars that twinkled outside the viewport. The Zorgan threat had been momentarily quelled, but both knew that this was merely a respite in a larger conflict. "Ambassador," Zephyr began, his voice tinged with concern, "what if the Zorgan regroup? They won't take defeat lightly." Sirius nodded, his mind racing. "We must remain vigilant. This victory has given us a chance to strengthen our defenses and build alliances. We cannot let our guard down." Just then, Joshua Grant entered the command deck, his expression serious yet hopeful. "I've been reviewing our battle data," he said, gesturing toward a holographic display that illuminated the room. "We need to analyze what worked and what didn't if we are to prepare for their next move." Analyzing the data. The holographic display flickered to life, showcasing detailed statistics from both battles. Joshua pointed to various graphs and charts. "Our strategy of using AI drones proved effective against the Zorgan fleet. But we must also focus on improving our ground forces coordination with your people." Sirius leaned closer, intrigued by the data. "Your drones were remarkable, able to adapt in real time to enemy tactics. But we also need to ensure our ground troops can work seamlessly together." Zephyr chimed in, "Perhaps joint training exercises could help. If we can learn from each other's strengths, we might stand a better chance against future assaults." Joshua nodded enthusiastically. That's an excellent idea. We can set up simulations that incorporate both Malian and human tactics. This way, we'll be ready for anything they throw at us, preparing for future threats. As discussions continued, Sirius felt a renewed sense of purpose among his crew and their human allies. They were no longer just disparate forces fighting a common enemy. They were becoming a cohesive unit. Let's set up a schedule for these joint exercises, Sirius suggested. Time is of the essence. We must act quickly to prepare for any future attacks. Joshua agreed, quickly pulling up a calendar on the holographic display. I'll coordinate with our commanders to ensure everyone is on board. As they finalized plans for their collaborative efforts, an alert suddenly blared throughout the command deck. Ambassador, incoming transmission, Zephyr shouted, his fingers flying over his console. Distress signal. The screen flickered to life, revealing a frantic face. His Zephyrian commander named General Kira. Her eyes were wide with fear as she spoke rapidly. Sirius, we're receiving reports of Zorgan activity near Zephyria again. They're regrouping. Sirius felt his heart drop as he listened intently. What are their numbers? Significant, Kira replied urgently. They've brought reinforcements, more than we anticipated. We need immediate assistance. Joshua exchanged worried glances with Sirius and Zephyr before responding. We're on it, General. We'll send reinforcements right away. Rallying forces. As soon as Kira's transmission ended, Joshua turned to Sirius with determination in his eyes. We can't let them attack again without a fight. We need to mobilize our forces immediately. Sirius nodded resolutely. Let's gather all available ships and prepare for an immediate deployment to Zephyria. With urgency fueling their actions, they coordinated their fleets, human ships joining Malian vessels in a united front against the looming threat. Prepare for launch, Joshua commanded as they rushed toward their respective stations. The journey to Zephyria. As their ships sped through space toward Zephyria, Sirius felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation churning within him. They had tasted victory before. Now they needed to prove that this alliance could withstand even greater challenges. Ambassador, Zephyr said quietly as they traveled through the void of space, do you think we can hold them off? Sirius turned to him with steely resolve. We must believe in our strength, both as individuals and as allies. The journey felt like an eternity as they closed in on Zephyria's orbit. The tension was palpable. Every crew member was acutely aware of what was at stake. The battle begins again. As they arrived at Zephyria, chaos erupted around them. Zorgan ships were already engaging in combat with defenders who were desperately trying to hold their ground. Deploy fighters, Joshua shouted over the comms as they entered the fray. Sirius watched intently as human fighters darted into action alongside Malian ships, plasma bolts lighting up space like fireworks against the backdrop of stars. Target their command ship, Joshua commanded through gritted teeth as he maneuvered his own vessel into position. The battle raged fiercely. Zorgan ships unleashed torrents of plasma fire while human fighters executed daring maneuvers that left even seasoned pilots in awe. Familiar strategy. Sirius marveled at how well coordinated their forces had become since their last engagement. The humans moved fluidly among Malian ships, each fighter covering another's blind spots while targeting enemy vessels with precision. Athena is analyzing their tactics in real time, Joshua explained as he monitored data streaming across his console. She's predicting their moves based on previous engagements. Zephyr looked impressed as he observed how effectively human tactics complemented Malian strategies. This is incredible. We're working together seamlessly. But just when it seemed they had gained an upper hand against the Zorgan fleet, another wave of reinforcements emerged from behind asteroids. The massive Zorgan command ship leading the charge, facing new challenges. Ambassador, that ship is targeting our flank, Zephyr shouted urgently. Sirius felt panic rise within him but quickly squashed it down. They had faced insurmountable odds before. They could do so again. "Redirect all fire toward that command ship," Joshua ordered decisively. As plasma bolts erupted from both sides, the battle intensified further, the stakes higher than ever before. A moment of desperation. But despite their best efforts, Zorgan forces began overwhelming them once more. Maluans struggling under relentless attacks while human fighters fought valiantly against impossible odds. Just when it seemed all hope might be lost, a brilliant flash illuminated space. One of Joshua's fighters managed to breach through enemy lines. "It worked," Zephyr exclaimed as they witnessed sparks flying from enemy hulls, their weapon systems failing one by one. As chaos erupted around them, the Zorgan command ship began drifting aimlessly through space, a clear sign that they had struck true. A hard-fought victory. With renewed determination coursing through them, the tide began turning in favor of their combined forces. Zorgan ships faltered under relentless attacks from both human and Maluan fleets. Explosions lit up space like fireworks celebrating victory. As silence fell over Zephyria once more, the remnants of both fleets began assessing damages while celebrating hard-fought victories against overwhelming odds. "We did it!" Joshua shouted triumphantly as cheers erupted throughout their ranks, a testament to unity forged through struggle. Sirius felt tears prick at his eyes. Together they had forged an alliance that defied all odds, a bond formed through shared struggle against tyranny. Reflections on unity. In that moment above Zephyria, a spark ignited within each heart present, a promise that together they would stand fearless against any threat that dared challenge them. As night fell over Zephyria, stars twinkling brightly above, their shared victory served not only as reassurance but also inspiration for what lay ahead. Alliance built upon courage, resilience, and above all, a commitment towards protecting those who could not protect themselves. This part concludes Fearless Humans, the ultimate rescue mission, highlighting themes of unity and resilience while showcasing character growth through adversity faced together during intense battles.